Hey YouTube, how's it going? So, I've never really got to fully tell my story with the exception on Facebook. So, I ask that you guys bear with me because this may take a little bit. And I guarantee you, it is definitely quite a story. So, sit back, relax, and listen. I'm 31 years of age. I was born in Jackson, Mississippi. I have an eye condition called retinopathy of prematurity. I was born weighing 1 pound and a quarter ounce. The doctors administered too much oxygen and it basically restored any chance of me having any of my vision at all. Anyway, I went through school, graduated high school in 2008. I entered college. My first major obstacle was trying to get involved with the music program. I always had a knack for listening to music and hearing sounds and that sort of thing. Unfortunately, the first two colleges that I went to in Mississippi, which by the way were Hines Community College and Meridian Community College, they both turned me down for their music program for the sole reason they said, well, you can't see. So what did I do from there? I got out of Mississippi and I made a promise to myself that I would never go back to a state that's just going to tell me I can't do something because of my visual impairment. Anyway, after I went to Missouri to try and get my family up there to help me, and I realized that they just don't understand what it is that I want to do with music. So from there, what I did was I went to Chicago, Illinois, and that was actually where I got my first hands-on experience with doing my demos. I have one with lyrics and I have two with instrumentals. I do my own beats. I think it helps, I guess, make the challenge more fun when you're doing your own beats from inside your head versus sampling other people's beats and rapping over it or whatever. So with that being said, everything was going pretty good. I was booking studio sessions and, getting hands-on experience with the demos and everything that I recorded. Unfortunately, I was supposed to go into this program that was called IC Music, which is in Beecher, Illinois, which is like outside of Chicago. Anyway, the program, or the people who were running the program, weren't getting paid to run it, so that basically put a halt on that plan. Anyway, my next obstacle was I applied to Full Sail University. I was the first totally blind student to ever attempt their program, and unfortunately, like all the other obstacles that I've encountered, I didn't have the right support system in order to help me complete it. So what happened? Full Sail kicked me out, unfortunately. Anyway, I still had the equipment, which by the way added up to $7,000, and it included a MacBook Pro, an audio interface, a microphone and a microphone stand. It included a pair of headphones, which by the way were Sennheiser studio headphones. It included the license or the iLok for the Pro Tools software. I also had Logic Pro. I had Final Cut Pro, which is a video editing software, which when you're dealing with music, especially you're visually impaired, I thought that was kind of odd that we would have to edit videos and do that sort of thing. Especially considering that it was a audio arts class. Anyway, the equipment got stolen after I relocated to Pennsylvania to try and seek employment through this company called Dancing Dots, which by the way specializes in selling music software for the blind and visually impaired. Well, unfortunately, they couldn't employ me because they don't have any employment internships. So that scratched that plan. Anyway, I still had the equipment and I was more or less teaching myself how to use Logic Pro and Pro Tools. And unfortunately, some idiot went and stole it. Now, YouTube, guys, you know how it is when you have a passion for something and somebody tries to take it from you. That shit hurts. And for those of you who have never done music and who can't understand it, you can't relate to this. Because those of you who have never wanted to do music, you can't understand what it's like when you go through the whole process of applying to something to help achieve your dream, and some stupid freaking idiot comes along and steals it. Freaking idiots. But what they failed to realize is when I shut my Apple ID down, they couldn't get back into it because it was going to erase the whole computer and all the contents on it anyway. Freaking idiots. Anyway, make a long story short, it felt like a knife cutting into my chest because it felt like somebody had taken their fist, punched me in my chest, and it went out of my back and back through my chest all over again, repeatedly, again and again and again. So I knew that I had to do something. I mean, nobody was going to come and say, "Excuse me, Mr. Go For It, but here's a replacement MacBook Pro along with all of the software that you had stolen from you." I knew nobody was going to replace all of that stuff. And I knew I didn't have anything to lose at that point. Because once you're at the bottom of the barrel, you can't go anywhere but up. So what did I do from there? I took a couple of days and I got myself together. And I eventually asked myself how 50 Cent would have reacted if somebody had tried to interfere with him and his musical abilities. Because I know through his movie, Get Rich or Die Trying, his book From Pieces to Weight, and of course his song Candy Shop, that let me know right there, it doesn't matter what people tell you you can or what you can't do. It doesn't matter how often they tell you, "Oh, well, you might as well give up on your dream." That's just people being jealous of somebody else simply because you're doing something that they also have the ability to do. The only difference with them is they're too lazy to make an effort. Anyway, after I asked myself how 50 would have reacted, I guess you could say I use that as like a guided light or whatever. Because believe you me, that question would not leave me, and I'm glad that it didn't, because it definitely helped me make my next decision. Because at that point it was either New York or California. So after asking myself that question and with it guide me more or less along the way, I contacted this organization called Heritage for the Blind. I explained my situation to the representative, Jose. He advised, try New York out, and if after a year you feel like you're not getting anywhere at all, if you don't feel like you're accomplishing anything, then try another approach. So, on the 1st of September, I came to New York by myself, no family. I entered the shelter system. As a matter of fact, I was in 3 different shelter systems. The first one I was at was on Clay Street. Then they transferred me to Bedford in Atlantic, and everybody was surprised that I was able to survive that one. And then, of course, the last one they transferred me to was DeKalb Avenue. Now, I know this is going to sound kind of weird, but I don't know of too many blind individuals who are from Mississippi who would ask themselves how an artist would have reacted if somebody tried to interfere with their ability to do music, go up to New York by themselves where they absolutely knew nobody, go through their shelter system and get placed, all because they're trying to relive their dream. That's all I'm trying to do, is make my dream become a reality. So, you know the story, you know what got me to New York, and if you guys have any comments or questions, hey, I'm always available. Alright guys, thanks.